Good morning. This is day 2 of the pre-trial proceedings or the confirmation of charges hearings against former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. I am Lian One reporting live from the International Criminal Court. In a few minutes from now, mag-open na ulit ang court session and we would see the full-blown submission of the prosecution. Day 2 is dedicated to the prosecution. Day 3 is dedicated to the defense. At yung day 4 sa Friday is part of it is dedicated to the yearly review of former President Duterte's detention. I will give you a highlight, a recap of what happened yesterday. Yung prosecution, nagbigay na sila ng kanilang mga substantial evidence. Some of the details have not been read before in the document containing charges. Then they named unidentified witnesses and said itong mga witness na to ay eyewitness sa pagbuo ng Davao Death Squad ni former President Duterte. There were graphic details there. Pinagpasapasahan daw ang basket at pwedeng pumulot ng kanya-kanyang barel. Meron daw pagpapaulan ng champagne. It was a celebratory moment to mark the beginning of the death squad in Davao City. Sinabi yon ng prosecution to demonstrate their point na may nangyari talagang death squad, and then they proceeded to present news clips and also clips of congressional testimonies of President Duterte saying that he has a death squad or he is the death squad. That was the prosecution's way of saying na kung ano man yung sinabi ni President Duterte ay siyang totoo. The trial lawyer Julian Nichols was saying this was not hyperbole. He was saying the truth when he knew he was safe and that he was saved from the culture of impunity. The prosecution needed to say that because a part of the defense or the part of the strategy of the defense of Nicholas Kaufman is saying that all of these speeches are just metaphorical. Kaya sinabi rin ni trial lawyer Julian Nichols that you take away all of the speeches and they would still have ample evidence of Duterte being, as deputy prosecutor said, at the very heart of a common plan to commit murders against what he calls criminals or what the prosecution calls as the civilian population. Pagpunta dun sa defense, dun sa opening statement ni Nick Kaufman, it was a very politically charged statement. Lahat ng pwedeng tatamaan from President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. down to the law faculty who comment on this case. It was a sweeping criticism of everyone who has been involved, whether you're a human rights activist, whether you're a journalist, or whether you're just a lawyer. It's a reminiscent of what we heard in the 6 years that Duterte was in Malacanang. Some would say that they're surprised na walang binanggit na jurisdiction si Nick Kaufman, considering that jurisdiction is actually their biggest case. They've said that on record. They've said that to me. Jurisdiction is their biggest case because if there's no jurisdiction, there's really no case against President Duterte. What they have going against the defense is that natalo na sila on this point, not once but twice. The latest being the pre-trial chamber upholding last year yung jurisdiction nila dito sa sitwasyon sa Pilipinas, but the defense has filed an appeal. So pending pa rin yung appeal na yon, and Nick Kaufman has enlisted the help of his associate counsel, Dov Jacobs. He calls him Dr. Dov Jacobs because his scholarly work on jurisdiction is actually the source of some of the judges on the ICC on jurisdiction. Just a brief recap kung ano yung pinag-uusapan nila dito. The Philippines was a member of the ICC from 2011 to 2019. Naputol dahil nung 2018, winidraw tayo ni President Duterte because the ICC has already started looking into the situation. The defense theory is there should be no jurisdiction on a non-member state of the ICC, but in the last decision, sabi ng pre-trial chamber, just as long as the alleged crimes happened within the years that we were members of the ICC, there is a jurisdiction. There's a whole lot of debate kung tama yon. It's a debate that is valid because ever-changing, evolving pa rin, napakabata ng jurisprudence ng ICC. So we have yet to see kung ano ba talaga yung magiging case law ng ICC kapag dinesisyonan na ng appeals chamber. When the appeals chamber do rule on our jurisdiction, the Philippines would be setting a precedent. Tayo na naman ang magsaset ng jurisprudence kung saan o hanggang kailan ba aabot ang jurisdiction ng korte. Salvador Panelo was telling me yesterday that he wishes that Nick Kaufman touched on jurisdiction a bit, but yesterday was really just for opening statements, and we expect Nick Kaufman to really pound on jurisdiction on Friday. Just back to the prosecution, Deputy Prosecutor Manjay Nyang was really hammering on the point that Duterte was aware that crimes was going to occur based on his rhetoric. That's a very crucial element because dun sa mode of criminal liability ni President Duterte, he's charged as an indirect co-perpetrator. Meaning hindi siya yung bumunot at nagpuputok ng barel, but he is mastermind, says the prosecutorial theory. And a very critical element to that is mapakita yung mental element na alam ni President Duterte na may krimeng magaganap once he does his conduct. And the prosecutorial theory is that he does know. He knows what's going to happen. He knows murders were going to be committed. The defense answer to that, it was purely rhetorical. His intent was to instill fear in the hearts of criminals. That was his intent, and that's not a criminal intent. So today we watch out for more substantial evidence from the prosecution. And on day 3, we will see just how far Nick Kaufman would go to assert non-jurisdiction of the ICC. According to the victims' lawyers, masaya sila kahapon. Kasi kung ang defense lang daw ni Kaufman ay nagbibiro lang or metaphorical lang naman si President Duterte, they said that's really not a strong defense. But we have yet to see the meat of the defense theory on day 3. This is Lian Juan recapping what happened from day 1, and we will go back to you once more when we know more about the hearings today.